So what's up guys, Shades of Tech here and welcome to the Dream Desk Setup Apple Edition. This is episode number 3 of my new studio tour.
If by chance you missed the previous segment, be sure to check the description and you find all the video links and the whole playlist. And if you have any question, be sure to drop a comment. This video series is focused on the new space dedicated to YouTube Studio, where for most of my time I think and produce the video uploaded on the channel, work on new project, and yes, also chill out. We already talked about the modern living room setup and the floating 4K OLED TV. And now it's time for the desk setup.
In the series finale there will be a $36 Amazon gift card giveaway, so be sure to stick around in the next videos to have a chance to win it.
I wanted to make this video for almost 5 years, being inspired by TLD and NKBHD Dream Desk, but I've never done it properly because it was never the perfect desk setup. But now it's finally time. I built this setup to be the perfect place to think and edit and produce the videos uploaded on the channel. I wanted it to be as minimal as possible to match Apple product lines that I really love, but I also wanted it to be functional and really ready to use in order to optimize and minimize the times of editing. This is why there are hidden features, so stay tuned for that until the end of this video. I'll try to mention all the product names, but I'll probably forget something, so I'll link everything in the description. The core of the setup is the desk with minimal white glass and walnut wood. It's a combo that I love, and I will also get in the new TV furniture coming soon next month. To be honest, it's not a real desk. It's a table since I wanted a desk as large and wide as possible, and my goal was to fill all the space I had between the wall and the couch. It's 180 by 90 cm and it's huge. You can place 3 27-inch monitors without any problem and you still have a really wide space and you get a lot of room to work in front of the monitor. The things I love the most are the rounded edges of the glass that perfectly match the rounded edges of the MacBook Pro and iMac, and the gap between the glass and the wood that seems to make it float over the legs. It's Italian design and it's pretty expensive. I've searched it so long and I love how it turned out and it's worth every penny. Unluckily, I don't have a link for that. The white glass creates beautiful reflection of the screens and the lights above. I honestly believe this style will be perfect in an Apple store, and this is the reason why I choose it, and who knows, maybe Apple will use this style in the future instead of the only wood they use right now. The horsepower of this studio, where I edit all my videos, is the iMac. I loved this design since 2013, and even though I admit it's a little bit outdated, with the bezels that are horrible in 2019, I always appreciate the all-in-one style. The 2019 iMac still has this design, so I'm waiting for the 2020 iMac that will probably have a massive redesign. Anyway, I'm rocking a late 2013 27-inch iMac with a 3.2 GHz Intel Core i5 processor and 1TB hard drive. At least this was the original specs. Of course it wouldn't be enough horsepower for heavy 4K editing, so I upgraded the RAM adding more 16 gigs with a total of 24 gigs to handle intense multitasking, and installed macOS on an external SSD in order to get the super fast boot times and opening and performance in application. I'm really convinced that with those upgrades, this model is totally worth in 2019 since I can edit flawless like butter 4K complex timeline in ProRes HQ in original quality, no proxy or quality loss. This Mac is with me since 2013 and passed a lot. The only downside is the non-retina display. It is limited to 2560 by 1440p since the 5K display was introduced only in the 2015 iMac models. So this is the main reason why I am waiting to a massive redesign of the iMac to get that beautiful 5K display. Performance are really good, so the main reason will be the 5K display in my opinion. With 4K editing, the 27 screen is not enough for me, and I love the dual monitor Final Cut Pro experience. I find it hard to go back to the single monitor experience now. I use the 4K 27 UK850W from LG. I leave the link up here with the complete review. I usually display library in the secondary display to have a big timeline and preview in the main one. Once I have finished the timeline, I use it just to have a bigger 4K preview. This display is also HDR, 99% color accurate, so it's perfect also for video editing and photo editing, and it's really similar to the iMac display, even if it's a bigger resolution being in 4K. I know that you can say that it's not aesthetically pleasing having two different designs in the monitors, but to be honest, an external display that matches iMac design doesn't exist yet. And with the small bezels of this monitor, I can get an almost seamless monitor experience. I also use it as an hub for my MacBook Pro and occasionally for my MacBook 12-inch, since they both have USB Type-C and can get super speed in the Final Cut Pro library with the external PCIe NVMe SSD. My second choice when it comes to Mac is my Space Gray MacBook Pro. It's the 2016 model with USB-C ports and that 13-inch Sweet Retina display. Can handle 4K editing on the go, but when the timeline gets a little bit complicated, the fonts starts to kick out, and this annoys me so much. And this is the reason why I don't use it often for this purpose. The screen is perfect though and really well balanced. The colors are super accurate, and this is the reason why I love to use it on the main giant leather couch to write the URL and the reviews of my videos, to browse and social networking and stuff. And lately I have been using it more frequently for photo editing in Photoshop. And this is a sneak peek of the last addition to the desk, the iPad Pro 12.9-inch in Space Gray. This is the Wi-Fi version 64 gigs and will replace my MacBook Pro. So far I'm stoked by the potential of this device, which is almost perfect, as just some connectivity issues due to iOS 12 that hopefully will be solved in the upcoming iOS 13. So I don't want to talk too much about it, I'll leave the rest for the iPad Pro review. Complete the Apple Mac product setup. I should mention the 12-inch MacBook from 2015. You're probably wondering why I have a MacBook Pro and the MacBook 12-inch, and this is a good question. I just couldn't decide which one I prefer, so I keep sticking around with both. The difference is that the Pro model is for heavier tasks, like photo editing and stuff, and it is literally heavier. So for everyday use, the 12-inch MacBook is so light, and I use it with traveling, and it's perfect on plane, on trains, but it's just for videos, Netflix, social networking and browsing. The only downside is the butterfly keyboard, which is odd to use, and being the first generation, it's not that good. And then it's gold, and this is just enough for me. Please don't judge me. For the keyboard and mouse, I'm sticking with Apple's standard Magic Keyboard and Mouse Gen 1. I like the key travel, it's very comfortable to write on, even for long writing session, and the mouse in everyday use is more comfortable and I can rest my hand. I'm considered to get a Space Gray and Trackpad Gen 2, but I will probably stick with what I have for now, a little bit longer to wait for Gen 3 with probably Touch Bar, Touch ID and backlight. Am I dreaming? Shooting in 4K, I create big-sized files for every project I shoot, so I'm very sensible to this. I have a total of 6TB and 500 gigs of storage, of which 1.5TB are of pure fast SSD. One of the pieces of this setup I'm most proud of is my external NVMe SSD, 1TB, that gets through USB-C, speeds comparable to the internal MacBook Pro SSD, which is very fast and like 2 times faster than the regular SATA SSD and like 20 times faster than mechanical hard drives. I am making a full video about how it works and how you can make it your one, and so you should definitely subscribe for that. In my opinion, lighting is half of this setup, since I don't like ugly light coming and hanging from the iMac like some other YouTubers do. I went with Philips Hue setup composed with one LED light strip with extension on the back of the desk, 2 lamps on the sides and 2 that come down from the ceiling. I used the regular Philips Hue hub to change colors, and it can also handle some activation with Siri or Apple Watch. To be honest, I also use one Ikea trad bulb, and I managed to connect it to the Philips Hue bridge in the living room, so let me know in the comments if you want to know more about it. When I edit, I love to hear good quality audio, and this is the reason why I'm not using any fancy Bluetooth headphone, just some old style Beats Solo HD from like 2012. I must say that I had to change some parts, as you probably guessed, for the color theme, but I'm pretty happy from the color and it matches my living room setup with teal and orange, and oh man, how they sound well, perfect for audio editing. The rest on my loyal headphone stand that I recently reviewed, I leave the link for that in the description. And that walnut matches also perfectly my desk. I just want to listen to music or videos. I use my AirPods Gen 1 that works seamlessly with macOS. Just open the case, connect it, and can move around for the office without any cable. They don't stand a chance with the Beats though, as audio quality. There are a lot of cables in this setup, it's just they are heavy cable managed and you don't see it. I just used some tips and ideas when I projected the wall behind the desk. So I placed electrical plugs behind, creating hidden passages for the cables in the wall and uses a lot of strips. I used the tabletop and the legs to hide all the cable and cable manage everything behind the iMac and the monitors. Below the desk I have a cable management box, which is a new model different from the big one I reviewed last year. This is much more minimal, doesn't take up much space and stores all my external hard drives. A nice detail is the USB hub with toggles that let me turn on and off individually hard drives, which is very convenient since I don't use them all the time. So we reached the hidden features part. So let me know if you guessed them. The first is the USB hub, which is hidden below the tabletop to have always USB inputs at hand. It also has a card reader because iMac has one, but it's behind the monitor and it's uncomfortable to access it, so I use it very often. The second hidden feature is the Ikea Remote that controls all the Philips Hue light. It is fixed below the table and it magnetically attaches to it, so you can use it and reattach it. It works great and is super handy. But tell me your opinion on this particular setup in the comment section and drop a like if you like this setup. Anyway guys, I think this wraps up for today, but as you've seen there is so much more to cover, so remember the Amazon gift card giveaway in the series finale, and stay tuned for more on Shades of Tech. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Ciao!